What's up, everybody? It's the Power Rankings Podcast, aka the Power Rankings Show. Sometimes I switch that up, I think. I don't know. I can't keep track today. Marcus, I went and bought NyQuil at the store. I should introduce my co-host before I start talking to him, but you guys listen to us every week, so you should probably know by now that I'm joined by at Marcus_Mosher, named after Marcus Allen. If you're like Garrett Fritz, a guy that's kind of joined our team, you've probably never heard of Marcus Allen. He was a running back in the 80s. He had a great run in the Super Bowl. You can look him up. If you have heard of Marcus Allen, well, then you're part of the Cool Kids Club. So, so I bought NyQuil at the store so I could get ready and be prepared. I'm playing hurt here, and I'm kind of excited. I'm not kind of excited. I'm really excited for this weekend's games. I think we have some great matchups. And, of course, as always, I defer to you on introducing our games. But I wanted to know if you had some general football thoughts as we enter into the playoff weekend. We don't have as many games to get to. We have a little extended time for you to gloat over that stupid belt that looks ridiculous on your shoulder.
If you're watching this on YouTube or on Brinks TV, this is the championship belt I got for having the best picks this year on the Power Rankings Show. So if you followed along all 18 weeks, you know that I beat Elliott. So there you go. Championship.
Yeah, I see where it says FFL on it, which has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, but I just thought it was cool. I thought I would wear it today, right?
But I would say you're full of, well, I'm not going to go ahead and fill out the rest of the FFL. But yeah, I don't think you picked better than me this year. But you know what? I wouldn't care if you did. See, because unlike you, I give credit.
Oh, okay.
But if you must know for being rusty, I think I did pretty well this year.
Yeah, you were good. I think I was very impressed. See, I give you a compliment.
I don't know if I'm going to do a $10,000 pick this weekend or not. I haven't looked at the lines yet. I'm 8-4 on those picks on the season. I started 7-2. I lost 2 in a row. And then last week I got it. So it was 8-4.
Yeah.
There's some good games this weekend. I don't know how good the lines are.
We'll talk about those games in a second, but you asked me for a football thought, and we'll talk about maybe some more of this tomorrow, but we should just clean up a couple things that happened since our last podcast. I know. Sorry, go ahead. We mentioned Joe Judge was staying with the Giants. Nope, that's not happening. He is gone. Dave Gettleman, their general manager, is gone. Seems like there could be some shakeups in Seattle coming. Wait a minute.
Can I give you a hot sports opinion fresh out of the oven on that?
Sure, go ahead.
Where you get away from Joe Judge. Why is Dave Gettleman being sent off into the sunset like Charlton Heston, and he just dominated some Western town with the law? Meanwhile, Joe Judge is getting absolutely just destroyed. Explain that to me, because if I had to pick the Giants' problems, I'd go 1 personnel, 2 coaching.
Oh, I agree with you.
So why is Dave Gettleman get a send-off with like golden flowers? It's like Coming to America. Remember when they threw rose petals at James Earl Jones's feet? Yeah, that's what they gave for Dave Gettleman. And Joe Judge, it's like, get out of town with your brand new baseball hat fresh out of the box.
Because Joe Judge's press conferences were ridiculous, right? He basically said people would love to come here and play for the Giants, and we're doing everything the right way. Like we talked about this at the time. Some humility is a good thing, right? It'll buy you some respect. And I think people like to dog on Joe Judge, and I think it's warranted. But to your point, Dave Gettleman was the real problem there. Like, he built a roster without a franchise quarterback. He spent the number 2 pick in the draft on a running back. He didn't upgrade the offensive line, and the defense was only average. So I agree with you. He's the biggest reason the Giants have not been successful over the last 5 years.
And their star wide receiver acquisition didn't really pan out either. So, you're holding your fantasy belt. Tell me Kenny Golladay wasn't a darling in fantasy a year ago. So, I just feel like the guy, I get why Joe Judge is being criticized, but I'll take a guy who sounds like Barney Fife or Mr. Furley or Zach from Saved by the Bell in his press conferences over a guy that's just, we see in a press box texting all the time. If that guy wins, I don't really care how they sound, and to me, Joe Judge could have done better than he did handling the press, and they certainly could have finished stronger. But couldn't we say the same thing about Cliff Kingsbury in terms of, especially if I could say his name right, finishing strong? The Giants didn't finish strong. They don't have great personnel. I'll just say that. They have some good pieces, but they need a lot more.
I think tomorrow we're going to talk about why the NFL gets coaching hires wrong so often and what makes a good head coach. I think that'll be our topic for tomorrow. But today, we're going to be doing some game lines, and we've got 6 games that we need to talk about, and I want to get into some of these picks.
Why does my head look so much bigger than yours today?
Like
everybody knows your head is far larger. You have to grease your ears to get the door, and my head looks huge.
It's huge. A rarity. All right, let's get to the lines. The first game of the weekend. This is the 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time game on Saturday. It is the Las Vegas Raiders against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Raiders are 5.5-point underdogs in this game.
They should be. That's my first thought. I think that spread makes sense. You know, I always say, but if you're just joining us for the first time, when I say what kind of job did Vegas do with the line, if I think Vegas did a great job with the line, I'm not betting on it. What I want to bet on is where I think they did a cruddy job with the line. No one says, by the way, somebody needs to bring cruddy back. Great word from like 84. And I don't know. I have to ask Garrett. I don't think kids today use cruddy. I like this spread in terms I think they got this right. Let's talk over under real quick before we make a pick. What's the over under on this game?
49.
Okay. That's 1 point higher than I was thinking. 48 on this. Would you be tempted to take the Bengals to cover more than you'd be tempted to take the under?
So I will say this. I've actually already bet on this game. The spread opened up at 6.5 and has actually gone down to 5.5 on most sports books. And I'm looking at a few right now that have it at 4.5.
You took the Bengals.
No. I took the Raiders at plus 6.5.
No way.
A couple of reasons.
Okay.
The last game between these two teams, they played middle of November. It was a 32-13 win for the Bengals. However, you go back and watch that game with like 6 minutes left, that's a 16-13 game. Like, it's really close. And the reason I kind of like the Raiders here is they're running the ball well. And if this game comes down to like kicking, Daniel Carlson's been incredible this year. 5 game-winning kicks. He's got some a leg that can kick from 56, 57 yards with ease. And the Bengals don't have a kicker they can rely on at all. So in a wild card game that's probably going to be kind of sloppy, I expect a lot of nerves. I kind of like getting those points for the Raiders.
Even at 5.5?
That's where I think I back off. At 6.5, I'm in. 5.5, I probably stay away.
Yeah. By the way, I wanted to let you know that Evan McPherson speaks highly of your work.
Sorry.
Kicker.
You guys, they've lost how many games this year because of poor kicking, right? The Packer game is a perfect example, right?
Yeah, definitely. You know, what I think about when I think about this game, other than you losing money, is the Bengals tackles against the Raiders edge rushers. Sure. How's that going to go? If they don't help out, you know, everyone was all over Storm Norton on Sunday night, the Chargers right tackle, but that's on coaching. You know, after you see a guy get beat enough times, you help out. And it's also on the quarterback. Justin Herbert's in his second year. You can also slide protection. They chose to send 4 or 5 guys out on the route every single time, Marcus, and they paid for it. The Bengals don't have a strong line. You've mentioned that many times. Don't you think it would behoove the Bengals to now I'm not sure who's better in pass pro, Mixon or Pirine, but if Pirine is better than, if it is Mixon, fine. But you know, to me, that's what they need to do. They need to at least chip. Okay. If you want to send Mixon out on a route, fine, but chip. Otherwise, I think the Bengals could get beat.
I agree with you. Hey, we got some breaking news that I want to get your thoughts on. Okay. I'd like to surprise you with news. David Culley fired by the Texans.
I don't like it at all. You better come with somebody that's. I've talked about this with you before. About 1 in 4 head coaching hires pan out. So you're rolling the dice that you're going to be able to pick the next guy. And does that mean you got David Culley wrong? In other words, if you have so much confidence that you can pick the next guy, well, then how come you got David Culley wrong? I'm saying if that's what you're thinking. I don't think you necessarily got David Culley wrong. How can you guess? How would you know that this quickly? That team played for him down the stretch. I think there's going to be some other things that come into play here about Texans ownership. And quite frankly, it's probably fair. So in terms of their perceptions of people, I'll just put it that way. What are your thoughts? I don't like it.
I don't love it either because they played really hard for Cully. However, this hire always felt like a placeholder, right? Like this year was going to be so tough with no Deshaun Watson. You basically knew that from him requesting a trade until all the other stuff that was going on. They needed somebody that could come in here and do the head coaching job for a year before they went out and got the long-term guy. Now, who is that? I don't know. I think Brian Flores would make a lot of sense there if they want to go for another New England guy. I don't know. I don't love it.
I'll say this. If you're a prospective head coach with a big time resume, let's just pick Jim Harbaugh for argument's sake. I know Jim Harbaugh is not going to be going to Houston, but let's just say that. What on earth would entice you to play to coach the Houston Texans? What could possibly make you want to go there? Money. I don't think money's everything for certain head coaches. They want to coach proud franchises. You could say what you want about, say, the Bears. I'd much rather go to the Bears than I would Houston. I'd rather be the head coach of the Chicago Bears. Why would I want to go to an organization Go ahead.
I agree with you. A big-time candidate's not coming in there, right? But maybe
especially after you just fired a guy after 1 year. Don't you think a lot of these coaches share agents too? I might add.
Yeah.
So if you're an agent and I'm representing 5, I'm sorry, I guess you didn't expect me to get this passionate about this, but
no, I know.
If you've got, I don't think people think of it this way. When they think of agents, they think of, Brad Pitt and George Clooney making espresso deals so people like Marcus could get fancy and buy the thing. Agents represent coaches too. If I'm an agent and I've got, 5 coaches under my wares, right? I don't even know if I use that phrase correctly, but I'm mad, so I'm just going to use it the way I want. Then what are those other 4 guys you have going to think about? And what are you going to think about? A team firing a guy after 1 season. And let me tell you something, it usually doesn't really work out. The Packers fired Ray Rhodes after 1 year. They got Mike Sherman. They didn't make the playoffs the next year. They made the playoffs a couple times, got bounced. Anyway, okay, I'm done.
I agree. It's a tough time to be a Texans fan right now because the big candidates aren't going to come to you. So you're going to have to probably overpay a lesser guy to come and coach. And whether that's maybe like a retread that we've already seen before, like maybe Dennis Allen, who didn't do well with the Raiders before, maybe he takes this job or somebody like that. Maybe that's an option. So,
well, I don't know what kind of relationship Romeo Crennel has with like Brian Flores, both obviously former Bill Belichick assistants, but is Romeo Crennel going to advise Brian Flores? Yeah, this is a kind of job you want to take. Is Brian Flores' other friends in the business going to say, yeah, after you just got fired for going 9-8 and winning 7 in a row, I think you should go to Houston. That's who you should coach. And if Houston doesn't hire Brian Flores and they hire just a typical name, what's going to come, don't you?
Yeah. Go out and get Joe Judge, Texan fans.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Let's go back to the games. Let's move on to New England and Buffalo. New England is a 4-point underdog in this game, and that total has been dropping like a rock. It's down to 44 points. What do you like in this game?
Ooh. Oh gosh. So, oh man. By the way, I didn't even do a pick on Bengals Raiders. I got you gave me that coaching news, and I got all fired up.
All right, give me a pick then.
I'm going to go the Bengals to cover on that. Okay. I was either going to go Bengals to cover or the under. Which do you like better?
I like the under.
Okay, I'll go under. I'm going to go with Marcus and see if you push my record to 0-7 or 1-6 when I go with you.
It's the first playoff game for Derek Carr and Joe Burrow. And the weather is supposed to be cold, and Derek Carr has historically been pretty terrible in cold games. His passer rating is only 73 when the temperature is under 50 degrees. It just feels like this is going to be a, what do you think, 10-7 game after the first half? Something like that, right?
Actually, I think in fairness, I think my record is only bad when you change my mind, not when you influence my pick. So I think I'm only like 0-6 when you've changed my mind.
Let's get back to New England Buffalo because this is a fun game.
Okay, so this is a pretty low over under. Obviously, I just want to talk schematic, and I want to make sure that it's extra dry because whenever someone does a podcast and they talk X's and O's, it's so rife with excitement. I just get fired up for the game hearing people talk about if they run the cover 2, this is what's going to happen. So here's the thing, Buffalo. I think the Patriots should come out, obviously, with a totally different game plan, but I like to see them use their tight ends and throw the football. One, putting the tight ends on the field for the Patriots, having multiple tight ends might force the Bills to get out of nickel and dime play linebackers. The other part of that is then you make those linebackers cover. If you just come out and try to run the football right at them like you did, I just feel like the Bills are going to be overly prepared for that. I like to see the Patriots come out and attack, but attack through the air, but smartly, because the Patriots don't have the talent at wide receiver, Marcus, in my opinion, to win the game on the strength of that position group. Would you agree with that?
I agree. I also don't trust Josh Allen at all in this game. Tell me the best Josh Allen playoff game that you remember.
That's a trick question. Can I answer Joe Ferguson?
No, I'm saying like he's not had a lot of success in the playoffs. Now the Bills have won some games. He hasn't played particularly well. I know that the wind chill for this game is supposed to be in the negatives. It's supposed to be like -5. It's going to be snowing. It's going to be freezing. It seems like New England can use the same kind of game plan they did last time in Buffalo and at least keep it close. I like the Patriots +4 this week.
They can, but I'm just afraid, that didn't really the same thing didn't play out when they played last time in New England.
The weather was better.
I'm just talking. I understand.
Better.
I'm just thinking short passing game using your tight ends. And when you have your tight ends, multiple tight end sets on the field, don't make me say like 12 personnel, run right at them with your bigs. But what I don't think they can do is just run the ball like they did in their first meeting. I think Buffalo is going to be overly prepared for that, given the weather conditions and given how they were embarrassed on national TV.
I mean, I think they're going to be more well prepared, but I think Mac Jones is going to have more success throwing the ball. And I think New England's going to use some trickery to generate some offense. Like we see this every playoff game from New England. Jacoby Myers or somebody's going to throw a pass to a wide open Kendrick Bourne, and it's going to get them in field goal range. I just don't see how this isn't a 3-point game.
I was so ready for you. You sounded for a moment like you were going to go into radio shock jock territory. I thought for a second you were going to go, we see this every time.
Yeah.
When they get, but you didn't. Okay. I'm going to go the under. That's my pick on this game.
Again, 44 in this game. So
42 is the total on this.
You just tell me what the final score is going to be. It's going to be 42 points. I was
22-20.
Yeah, see, I think it's going to be a little lower than that. I was thinking like 2017, something like that.
Problem or takeaways? I almost said this. I almost said problem or takeaways, bro.
Okay.
But really, it's takeaways. You get a pick 6, it's an easy score. That's the problem with betting the under. That's why I keep betting the under. I don't know why I do it.
All right, let's see if you bet the under on the next one. It's the Philadelphia Eagles against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs are 8.5-point favorites in this game.
You feel like it's too high? Just off the cuff. First reaction when you saw it, were you like, no, this is just right? Did you want it to be 10?
No, I think this is the right spread, but I think I'd still take the Eagles here. Does that make sense?
I'm kind of with you on this. This looks about right. I think this matchup, the last 2 years before this one, the Bucs were impossible to run on. Their defense hasn't played like that this year. But I still think the way that you beat the Bucs is to attack their secondary. And that's just not Philadelphia's strength. And in that regard, I feel like this is a bad matchup for the Eagles. Now, the Eagles front defense, their defensive front against the Bucs offensive line, to me, is the matchup of this game, especially if they can get interior pressure on Brady, because they're going to have to play some numbers in the secondary, Marcus. So I really think it's up to their front four.
And that's the reason I'm going to pick the Eagles plus 8.5. I think the Bucs will win, but I think it's going to be close. I think the pass rush is going to be able to slow down Brady some. We actually kind of saw this game play out with Washington and Tampa Bay earlier in the season. Like Washington's front four just kicked the crap out of Tampa Bay. And I think we're going to see something similar. I'm thinking a 24-20 type of game where Brady has to just put the game away in the last 3 minutes, something like that.
So then you must be taking the under, because I think the over-under on this is 45.5. That's my guess.
It's 45.5. Yes.
Wow. Well,
I would stay away. It's too close for me.
I promise you I didn't look on that. So staying away on all of this, or just staying away, taking the Eagles to cover and staying away from the over-under?
Taking the Eagles to cover, staying away from the over-under, picking the Bucs to win. How's that?
This is probably a game I walk away from, period.
Okay.
If you're going to bet on it, I'd probably take Marcus's advice here. But yeah, I'm walking away from this game. And like I said, I guess the total, that means I'm not going to bet on the total, because I think they did their job. So there we go. Okay, next one.
All right, next one. It's the San Francisco 49ers against the Dallas Cowboys. An awesome uni matchup that we talk about all the time. Cowboys, 3-point favorites in this one.
Yeah, awesome uni matchup. But the Cowboys wear their normal jerseys and not those hideous star things that you like. What do they even call? What do they call those? Do they call those the Cowboys alternate jerseys sponsored by Diet Pepsi?
No, those are Nike jerseys, but
okay, the Nike jersey sponsored by Diet Pepsi.
They're fantastic. I absolutely love them. Greatest Cowboy jersey of all time.
You know what Jerry Jones could do to troll the Giants so bad is offer everyone in the stadium for supporting the Cowboys all year a large Pepsi. That would be amazing. It'd be a great sponsorship opportunity. Come on. All right, maybe
I think he's going to want his fans drinking something a little bit stronger than Pepsi.
Oh yeah, he said he wants 100,000 for this. Okay, so let's talk here. 49ers, talk some ball. 49ers 3-point underdogs, which is interesting that they're basically saying on a neutral field these teams are even Steven. How do you feel about that right off the top?
I don't disagree with it. I mean, the 49ers won 9 games this year, but they played in the best division of football, right? Like the NFC West was just a bloodbath all year long. Cowboys didn't. The Cowboys played in a much easier division, had a much easier schedule. I can get behind the fact that the 49ers and Cowboys are very similar teams. And going into this game with the 49ers basically being at full strength, having Kittle back, having Deebo Samuel healthy, I'm fine with that.
Let's go position by position comp here. Sure. So quarterback, Cowboys, right?
Yep.
So one in favor of the Cowboys. Running back, that's tough. Given the way they've been playing lately, I might be prone to go 49ers.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yep.
Okay, so 1-1. Offensive line, I'm going to go Cowboys.
I'm going to go San Francisco.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. I think their offensive
They've been playing better.
They
have. Yeah. That's fair. I'm thinking talent level, but in Trent Williams being hurt, but he says he's going to play. If Trent Williams is fine, God, that's tough. How do you pick between Trent Williams and Tyron Smith, man?
Trent's been better the last couple of years.
He's been great, but they both are great. All right, fantastic. Let's just we'll call it a push here. Sure. Okay, wide receivers, including tight end, and Greg Kittle is part of the blocking. Better blocker than George Kittle. Hey, what is that? Is that 5 on the year?
I think we're there. We're getting close.
I'm still not anywhere near 12. Okay, so by the way, Greg Kittle was a DH for the White Sox, I think, in the 80s. You could check me on that. Okay. He wore these big Van Heusen accountant glasses. Big homer guy, struck out a lot. You don't like baseball, though, do you?
That's all right.
It's okay. All right, so Greg Kittle, better blocker at the point of attack than anyone the Cowboys have. We should add that into offensive line. You know what? I'm gonna change my pick. I'm going to go with
Greg Kittle again. I just can't believe it.
Yeah, George Kittle. So now I'm up to 6. But I'm going to go back to you because if we include the tight end as part of the blocking package and use check, it's 49ers. Okay. So we've got advantage Niners. Now wide receivers, including Kittle versus Cowboys receivers, including Schultz. Without Gallup, do you still take the Cowboys?
Call it push.
Okay. Let's go special teams. Cowboys have been actually very good other than their kicker.
I would go Dallas in this one, actually.
Yeah, Anger's been great when he's been called upon. He wasn't called upon much early in the year.
Pro Bowl punter. Yep.
Yeah,
and more kicks than anybody else in the league. They've got a lot of returns. I'll go Dallas special teams. It's close though.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Special teams are not all about your kicker, although that is really important, as you pointed out with the Bengals. Okay, defensive line. I'm going Cowboys here. If we're counting Gregory and Lawrence.
All right, that's fine. We can go Dallas there. They're both really good.
I'm not counting Micah. Well, I mean, I guess you have to, kind of like Kittle, you have to count the run game and the pass game. You kind of have to count Micah up front and the linebacker core, right?
Yep.
Speaking of linebacker core, without Micah, for me, it's easily the 49ers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it might, even with Micah, it might still be the 49ers.
Okay, so we'll give 49ers that edge there. Secondary, I'm giving the Cowboys that edge. 49ers secondary has been a problem all year. Coaching, I know where I'm going.
I think Shanahan's a really, really good coach, but I trust McCarthy and Dan Quinn and Kellen Moore quite a bit too.
So you're going to call that a push?
No, I'll take McCarthy and Dan Quinn and Kellen Moore.
I would take the 49ers. So this is pretty even. So by your count, you've got the Cowboys at quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. You've got the Cowboys at wideout, right? Mm-hmm.
Defensive line.
Defensive line, that's 3. Secondary, 4. Coaching, 5, and special teams. So you have the Cowboys as a clear better team in this matchup. I don't.
That's a terrible way to do that, by the way. It's a terrible exercise.
That was a long walk. Listen, we apologize. But I felt like we had to do this.
These teams are both really good. They're really deep. And I think this is probably going to be the best game of the weekend, in my opinion. Yeah.
Do the Niners cover this? Do they win outright? Do they lose by 1?
Yeah, I kind of think the 49ers win. They're built to play in the playoffs. If the Cowboys get down in this game, they're going to be a hard time, climbing back in, because the 49ers can run the ball and they can rush the passer. So I think we're talking about an extremely close game, but like 27-24 49ers, something like that.
I've got the Cowboys winning this game, but I don't think they're going to win by more than 3. So to me, this is a push. We haven't talked over under. What's the total on this?
51. It's the highest of the week.
Does that feel a little high, or does that feel right on? Well, you said 27-24, so you think it's right on.
Yeah, I would stay away from this one as well.
I think I'm abstaining from picking this game. Let's go to the next one.
Biggest, most important game of the weekend. It's the Steelers against the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are 12.5-point favorites. Let's do some injury stuff off the top. For the Chiefs, Tyreek Hill practiced fully on Wednesday and Thursday. Should be good to go. Travis Kelce dealing with a hip injury. Should be good to go. Clyde Edwards-Helaire did not practice on Wednesday or Thursday. Don't get the feeling he's going to play. Darrell Williams, his backup, has a toe injury. He did practice, at least in a limited fashion, on Wednesday and Thursday. He should be good to go. On the Steelers side, Najee Harris has not practiced yet. He's expected to be ready to go, though. And then Juju Smith-Schuster, who has not played since week 5, activated from the injured reserve list, practice on Thursday. Some thoughts that he might be able to come in and play, give the Steelers 15, 20 snaps.
I think the Steelers can cover this. It's a big line. I mean, could I see Kansas City winning by 14? Sure, I could. But this is a meaty line for a team that's getting one of its better players back, who got embarrassed before, although Ben Roethlisberger didn't exactly inspire confidence with his quotes this week. I don't know if
that was all. He was doing all that sarcastically. How we don't have a chance. That's just a motivational
I hope you're right.
thing. Did you see Andy Reid's response to that? I love it. Andy Reid said, "Yeah, the Steelers are playing like a number 1 seed right now." So
I love Andy Reid, man.
You ready for this? Corey,
I think this should be a lower total, by the way. This should not.
Get ready for the lock. Get ready for the lock. This is the lock of the week. Okay. Steelers
Here we
plus
go.
12.5.
Yeah, shocking. I'm so shocked.
I already bet the Steelers to win this game outright at plus 500. So you bet 100, you win 500. Listen, the Steelers are just weird. They win games they're not supposed to. They've beaten good teams this year. Like they beat Tennessee.
I know, but did you ever see the movie The Natural?
Yeah.
With Robert Redford?
Yeah.
You sound like the judge, the guy that owned the team. Or not the judge, sorry. His friend, the guy that was the gambler. I think his name was Gus, and he had the weird eye. And he would tell Robert Redford, he'd say, Robert Redford's like, I don't think you should bet against me. And he's like, I already have. That's exactly how you sound.
Steelers plus 12. This game is going to be close going into the last drive of the
game. This could be Steelers plus 1.5, and you would be laying money down, and you'd be coming on the podcast saying, I laid money down on this because the Steelers win games. Your analysis would be the same no matter what it was.
I just want to let you know, last week, Steelers Ravens. Picked that game right. Colts Jags said, hey, Colts are going to lose that game.
Okay, here we go. Here's the Marcus.
Pointing that out.
No, let me just lay out for you.
Let's just grab this real quick.
Let's just mute the mic here. I don't really need to talk.
I'll give you the total. It's 46.5.
Do you take the under on that? Or would you be worried that Kansas City's offense might just erupt?
Yeah, I mean, serious for a second. If you're going to pick Pittsburgh to cover the spread, it's probably a good idea to combine it with the under because there's no way that the Steelers win this game in a shootout, right? Like they're just not going to outscore Kansas City 33-30. They win. But then you're taking
a double risk too.
You are, but it's the same. If Pittsburgh covers the spread, it's going to be because this game is 23-20, right? Or 20-17. Like they're going to have to win by running the ball and defense. I don't hate the under here, but I'll give you a better bet. Steelers right now are the line on the amount of points that they score in this game is 16.5. And I would be inclined to bet the over here. I think they score 17, 20 points in this one.
I'll take that. That sounds better to me than the spread. That sounds better to me than the over-under on this one for sure. I am not looking forward to that game. It's a cool uni matchup, but I'm very blah about Chiefs Steelers and the Rams Cardinals are kind of equal to me. On one hand, I like the matchups because they're intriguing. On the other hand, they're just more blah to me than I feel like the better playoff games are earlier in the week. And earlier in the weekend? I like Dallas, San Francisco. I like Bucks, Eagles. I like Bills, Patriots.
I think the two big games are the Bills, Patriots, and Cowboys, 49ers. I think
me too.
In the draw. Let's talk about the Rams Cardinals. So the Cardinals are 4-point underdogs in this game. Cardinals have been awesome at home, on the road this year, just crushing it. Rams, not so much. They had to go to a silent count at home last week.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
First of all, let me just say that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. The NFL, LA was always just a chip. It was just a chip for owners to threaten where they can move their team. And they got an owner that moved his team there. We've seen kind of how that's played out. We've seen the Chargers support there or lack thereof at times. I mean, it's so ridiculous. But putting that aside, one of the reasons that this is not in my top two, I would probably tie the Cardinals Rams with Eagles Bucks in terms of what games I'm looking forward to. They're like tied for third somewhere. The reason being is I don't really like this Monday night playoff game. People are probably going to enjoy watching it at home. It's you know what I'm saying? Like it's one thing to enjoy something as a viewer, Marcus. I don't like messing with competitive advantage for the upcoming weekend. That's why I don't like it.
So I will say that the NFL did something smart here. At least they made the Saturday games all the AFC games. So the NFC game, whoever wins this game on Monday will probably play on Sunday against either the Packers or the Buccaneers. So there's only going to be a day difference. So it's not anything that we're not accustomed to seeing in the playoffs, right? Because if you play on Saturdays, sometimes you have to play on Sunday or whatever. So it's not that big of a deal.
It's just that you want to try to reduce this, and it's a night game and that messes with players or creatures of habit.
I agree. You know where I stand on this. I did not like the inclusion of an extra playoff game. I liked the way it was set up before. But from a viewer and as a husband, having another game on Monday rather than another one on a Saturday afternoon at 1 is a good thing. I get some brownie points. So I get to spend some time with my wife on Saturday afternoon. So
I like how you phrase that. I get to spend some as opposed to, it allows me to fulfill my obligation.
I'm just saying, listen, I don't want to be divorced by Monday night. So this is a good way for the NFL to help me out.
Well, dude, the way that you tweet, I'm amazed you have time for anything. Like I said, you're Terrence Steele tweets, it's. So matchup wise, I like this game a lot better than Kansas City, Pittsburgh, because these two teams I think are pretty even. I'm having a hard time convincing myself of the Cardinals winning this game unless the Rams just come out flat or that stadium is taken over by Cardinals fans. Tell me I'm wrong.
Have you liked the way Matt Stafford has played in the last month?
No, No, but I know he's very capable, and I don't really
know.
love the way that the Cardinals offense is played either. If these two teams play evenly throughout their roster, I think the Rams win this game. I'm having a really hard time picking the Cardinals. Now, if we're just talking gambling here, Cardinals to cover, that's a different conversation.
Matt Stafford in his last 4 games, 8 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, 83 passer rating, 10 sacks.
Have you seen who's out there covering for the Cardinals?
Oh, I know. I just didn't like the way he was moving in that last game against the 49ers. It seemed like he was really struggling to get outside of the pocket at all. I'm just going to be honest, Elliot, here. And this is some good advice to gamblers. I don't love either team in this one, so I'm probably just going to stay away. If I had to pick a team to win, I think I would pick the Rams, but I don't feel confident enough on either side to bet it.
So I could see the Rams winning this game by 3. I don't have any confidence in it either. Now, if I think the Rams are going to win by 3, then I'm saying the Cardinals will cover, but that is too close for me to lay money down. And we have other picks that we like more. I'm trying to see who's probably going to start at corner. The Cardinals have signed some guys.
Marco Wilson looks like he's coming back from an injury, so he's
looks
the
like
last couple of games. So that'll help. They do have Byron Murphy in the slot. I mean, it's not good regardless of who's going to be out there for the Cardinals.
I want to see who started last week for them. I mean, this has been a problem for them, Marcus. And early in the year, I was saying the way that you beat the Cardinals is to run right at them. But now, I'm not so sure. Their pass defense is ranked 7th, but that's season long, right? Golly, this is. Yeah, I'm inclined to go with you. Let's talk total on this one real quick.
Yeah, sure. 49.5.
See, now I could see this being an over situation because even though the quarterbacks have not played great, the defenders on these teams have actually been quite inconsistent as well. Von Miller's made some really clutch plays for them, but then where is he the rest of the game? By the way, did you see the Rams signed Eric Weddle? I thought that was really interesting. He's got to be 37, 36.
37, yep.
Now, he's just on their practice squad. He doesn't have to play this week. Maybe they're thinking next week. They've got a few days, obviously, to evaluate him. I'd be most inclined, if I'm going to bet anything on this game, I either want to package it with another game, okay, which you talk about doing all the time. Mm-hmm. But I don't even think I want to do that because I don't have a lot of confidence in either of these teams. I think the most likely scenario for me would be to go take the over on this. That's a relatively low over-under for these two offenses, don't you think?
Yeah, but playoff games are weird, especially the first round. We just see a lot of nerves in this one. I think this would be Kyler's first playoff game ever, right?
Yep.
Stafford has only played in, 2 or 3 playoff games?
He played in 11 versus the Saints, 14, played Dallas, and then 16. Didn't they go out and lose to Seattle? I think Anquan Bolden got in a fight in that game. Am I misremembering that? So
you're only looking at 2 or 3 career starts.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have some better bets here. I think you want to stay away from the point spread. The total's dropping a little bit. I'm looking at DraftKings Sportsbook right now. It's 48.5. I wouldn't hate taking the over there as well, but at the same time, the Rams have not put up a lot of points lately. Like against the 49ers, 24, against the Ravens, 20, against Seattle, 20. Like it's not been a super high powered offense lately.
No, it hasn't. But playing on the road against the Ravens versus playing at home versus the Cardinals.
Yeah, but the Ravens secondary in that game was atrocious.
I know their secondary is not good. The 49ers secondary isn't good either, but that doesn't mean their entire defensive unit is bad. They mitigate that with their front 7. Obviously, if we're trying to figure this out this much, as you said, there are better bets on this one. I'm going to go ahead and take the Rams straight up on this. We should talk about straight up picks if you're in a pick 'em league.
Yeah, let's do all of them real quick. So Bengals, Raiders, we both like the Bengals to win outright. You like the Bengals to cover. I like the Raiders to cover. Bills, Patriots.
I like the under more in that game.
Yeah. I like the Patriots to win outright. I think you like the Bills, right?
Didn't pick. I didn't pick.
I know.
I'm going to take the Patriots outright.
Oh, okay. Then
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
then let's come back to that game in a second then. Eagles, Bucks, we both like the Bucks to win outright.
Yeah.
Probably stay away from that spread. Although
Yes.
I'm seeing right now that it's climbed up to 9.5. It's a little bit more appealing.
And I like the Bills Patriots under, by the way. I'm not staying away from that.
Cowboys, 49ers. You like the Cowboys straight up. I like the 49ers straight up, but stay away from that spread because it's only 3. Steelers, Chiefs. I like the Steelers to win and cover. You like the Chiefs to win, and you would probably pick the Steelers to cover.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. That's too big a spread.
You're a coward. That's all it is.
You are.
I picked the Steelers to win straight up. How is that?
Yeah, but you always do that. Yeah, but you always do that because you figure either way I win. I either win my bet or the Steelers lose miserably, and I'm happy. I know.
Yes and no. I do that. But
I know your tactics. You always think you're Sean Connery in The Hunt for Red October, and like we see you from a mile away.
Listen, that game is going to be close. I'm just telling you. So if I can get the Steelers at plus 500 to win, I'll take it.
Over under in that game was 46.5. Is that right?
Yep.
That's a tough one. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Stay away.
Okay. Yeah.
Cardinals, Rams. We both like the Rams to win outright, but we don't love that one. So how about this, Elliot? I got a bet for you that you're going to like.
Okay.
All right. It's pretty simple. It's only 2 teams. What about the Steelers over 16.5 points and the Patriots plus 4 over the Bills? That's plus 275. You bet $100, you win $275.
I actually like your other one that you talked about, which was the Steelers just by itself, the 16.5 offensive points, just by itself.
Just by itself.
I would take that. Okay. I'll take the New England Buffalo under.
Okay.
For sure. Those are 2 bets that I like. I think that
I got a prop bet for
Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear it.
Tom Brady over a half a rushing yard, even odds.
I'm going to go over on that.
Yeah, I agree. Right.
Yeah.
1 quarterback sneak, which he's so good at. Now, the only thing you have to worry about is the kneels at the end of the game, right? If they're up in these games, he's taking a couple kneels. But I like him to have a couple quarterback sneaks and then 1 scramble that he gets like 4 yards on. That's it.
Boy, that's I think my $10,000 bet would be Bills, Patriots under.
Okay. Can I convince you to take an alternate spread in that game?
Sure.
Okay. Because that one's close for me. What did we say the spread was in that game? 44.
4. Mm-hmm.
What if we move that up to 48?
Yeah.
48. It's minus 185, which means you have to bet $185 to win 100.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't see 49 points being scored in this game, right?
I don't either. That's a safer way to do it.
You have to pay a little bit more to do that, but I like the odds better.
Well, I think what I would say is if you're comfortable with the money that you've made so far this season, take the safer bet and just pad it a little bit. But if you want to take a little bit more of a swing, take the under as is. I think the total in this game is going to be 42, but I agree with you that is a little bit risky. If you can make some money pushing that up to, you said 48, correct?
Yep, 48.
So if it's at 48, that's a push for you.
I got a teaser for you too, because you know how much I love teasers.
Boy, dude, yeah, the graphic calculator is out full force now. Okay, let's go.
What do you mean? Just relax.
Dude, you're such a Dungeons and Dragons nerd with gambling and fantasy.
What does that even mean?
Well, like people used to, sports people used to always make fun of like D&D nerds, be like, look at them with their 20-sided dice. They would call them 40-year-old virgins and things like that. And you guys thought y'all were the coolest. And you should hear yourself, dude. So I got Hakeem Nicks in a dynasty auction league for $12. And wait a minute. I waited until T.Y. was off the board. I waited until James Jones and his hoodie was off the board. And I got Hakeem Nicks. Sorry. It's the same thing. It's just D&D.
Okay. You're mean. And here's my
it's not mean. Just saying it's the same stuff.
All right.
Okay.
Here's
Let's
the
hear
teaser. All right. It's a 7-point teaser, and the odds are really good. It's plus 130. You bet $100, you win 130.
That's cool.
It's a 7-point tease, so we're moving the Steelers game up to plus 19.5. There's no way the Steelers don't stay within 19.5. We're moving the Patriots-Bills game up to 51. So we're taking the under 51 points, and we're taking the 49ers up to plus 10.
I like everything about that except the Pittsburgh, Kansas City. Why do you have to include Pittsburgh, Kansas City on every one of these?
Because that's 19.5 points. Even if this game is 30-17, you still win your bet. Or
what if we just did this? What if we just did the second part of that deal?
What's that? You just do Bills and 49ers plus 10?
Yes. Because I love those two.
Yeah. Minus 140. Bet 100. You got to bet 140 to win 100.
I like that better.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
I'm a little bit. Look, I admittedly, I'm a little bit more on the safe bet trail here with you, and I like these ideas. I love the fact that if you're listening to this podcast and you want to try something different gambling. I mean, Marcus is sitting here giving you like a menu, which I think is wonderful. But at the end of the day, let's just go through the math of it. We've had 16 games to choose from. And when we had remember when we did our kind of our gambling advice podcast on that Free Flowing Friday? I told you, I don't care who the teams are. I'm taking what I think is the very best thing that week. I don't care if it's an under. I don't care if it's a spread. You just took my allotment of options and you more than, I've got like a little over a third of the options this week.
Yep.
And so for me, I like the safer plays. So I really love the Bills Patriots moving that over under up to 48. So how much would you have to bet to win 100 to do that?
Just on that spread, let me pull it up. I believe the last time I looked, 48, that is minus 185.
So you got to bet 185 to win 100. Like I said, though, if you have a winning record this season, like one guy on this podcast does, then you'll take that, safe play. But I also like your one coupling it with the 49ers, but I would probably have to stop at Kansas City and Pittsburgh.
All right.
I have no idea what's going to happen there.
All right. Let's take out that game. Same things we were doing before. So we move the 49ers up to plus 10. We get the 51 and the under in Buffalo Patriots. And then we add in Tampa Bay, Philadelphia. And now Tampa Bay, all they have to do is win by 1.5.
I like that a lot better. The reason I like it better is because I can think about matchups. I'm pretty sure I know how Jalen Hurts is going to play. I think he's going to have 28 pass attempts tops. I don't know what Ben Roethlisberger is going to give Pittsburgh, Marcus. And I don't know if Pat Mahomes is going to play schoolyard ball or it's going to be some of that funky offense. And by the way, how about the Chiefs defense? They were great for 7 weeks? Have you watched them the last few weeks? It's not the same unit out there. Yeah. So Drew Lock looked like Randall Cunningham. I should have called him Dave Lock just to see if I could get closer to her. I'm not going to make it to 12. We thought I was going to have 12 missed names, and I'm not going to get there. So
Dave Lock runs the Locked On Podcast Network. So there you go. Shout out to Dave Lock.
Sweet. Shout out to Greg Kittle. Yeah. So
baseball. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So single bet. I like.
It was Ron.
I
Kittle,
like
by
you.
the way. It was not great.
It was Ron Kittle. It wasn't Greg. Well, then which one's Greg Kittle?
I have no idea. It's a made up person. I'm gonna Google.
No, it's
Kittle.
Not. Greg. Yeah, dude. Greg Kittle. Okay. I know I'm getting it from somewhere. Is he like a backup center for the Utah Jazz in like '88? No.
It's not a real person.
This really hurts my feelings. Okay, so Bills Patriots. I like moving it up to 48. I think you said you had to bet 185 to win 100. I like that. I like you pairing this with Cowboys 49ers as a double bet. I think you have to bet 140 to win 100. That's where you move Bills Patriots all the way up to 51. So you're adding 7. And you move the 49ers line 7 points. The 49ers are underdogs by 3 points. That would make them 10-point underdogs, right?
Yep.
You have to bet 140 to get 100 on that.
Actually, it's the other way. Sorry. It's you bet 100, you win 140.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I like that one a lot. And then the last option I like that you said is to do 3 of these. So you take Bills Patriots total up to 51. You take the 49ers as underdogs up to 10. And then you take the Eagles and the Bucks only have to win by 1.5.
Yep.
So I like those options. I would probably just take the 1 pick. That's how I tend to roll. But those are all good options. The Kansas City Pittsburgh, though, I'm out on that. And the Rams Cardinals, I'm out on that for sure.
If you want to do a bet just for my what's probably going to happen. So I'm like all depressed here on Tuesday. 49ers Steeler money line parlay pays out 13-1 odds. So there you go. That's what I would do.
What is that again?
Steelers 49ers money line. This is basically the worst case scenario for me as a football fan.
Oh, right. Saying the Steelers and the Niners win. Okay, yeah. I missed that part.
13-1. So there you go.
Somebody should just do that just to upset you.
I already did. Don't worry. I already bet on it.
So, all right. I never check our, we're on a Zoom call, by the way, if you guys are wondering why I can always see like Marcus's gold chains and stuff. And we always get messages and I never check them. And, Eric just said Ron Kittle, White Sox. All right. Y'all don't have to, I'm going to figure out who Greg Kittle was.
That should be the end of the podcast, I think.
Yeah, we're done. We're done. All right. So everybody, we gave you some bets. Obviously, Bengals and Bills Patriots, we differ on a little bit. You've got the Raiders winning against the Bengals.
No, I got the Bengals winning, but the Raiders.
Oh, you got the Bengals winning, but you've got. Oh no, we both have New England winning, so we agree on that. Mm-hmm. We agree on Tampa winning. You've got the 49ers winning.
I think that game's going to be really close. Yeah.
And then I have
game of the weekend.
I have the Cowboys winning. We both have the Chiefs winning, and we both have the Rams winning. So why are you shaking your head?
I got the Steelers winning, man. You know that.
You do not have the Steelers winning, and I know it. That's why I just went right over that. So we're getting the music. That's my cue that I have to go. So listen, thanks for sitting around and listening to Marcus do his D&D gambling stuff. It was great. Hey, actually, all credit, bud. You gave some great options there. I might take one of those. He's at Marcus_Mosher. I am at Harrison NFL. We'll see y'all.